年代表一起来了中山，他本人是英国的 Creative Branding and Design Company 的合伙人和创意总监建议大家以热烈掌声欢迎4位嘉宾。那么我们这一次的那个互动讨论呢，就把这个麦克风交给我们林志颖先生做主持，谢谢。
好，谢谢大会给我这个机会跟大家做一个互动跟交流。不过呢，就是今天我们在开始之前的话呢，我知道马德琳女士的话，她有一个就是小小的一个展示，因为大家今天下午的话呢，都已经听了李院长、陈教授还有我自己的一个分享。不过呢，就是马德琳女士的话，她其实自己也准备了一点点的一个分享，大概是10分钟左右的。要不我们先以掌声邀请马德琳小姐先跟我们做一个分享。
Hello, my name is Madelyn Postman and I'm from Grain Branding and Design, which is based in London. And to give you a bit of introduction about Grain, so Grain has been established in 2002 in the UK, and we're a branding and design consultancy. We work mostly with established entrepreneurs and startups, and also with international companies like Tesco and Sony. We work across brand strategy, naming, visual identity, packaging, and website design. And we specialize in the fields of luxury and fashion, and also education. My background is, I've been in design for 20 years, and I was designing at Gucci Group for 5 years, and then established my own agencies in 2002, and then joined Grain in 2010, and we've been growing about 20% year on year since 2010 as a company. There are 8 people in Grain, so it's quite a small design agency. So what I wanted to talk about today is why invest in branding. It's looking at branding and also the innovation side of branding. So, branding is like creating a fingerprint. There's so much competition these days from all different companies, and it's important to stand out and to differentiate yourself. And that process, in a nutshell, is branding. Your brand strategy helps you figure out why you're different from other companies. So it's like creating your own footprint and writing your own brand story. The second reason why you would want to invest in branding as a company is that it helps your company rise above commodity level. China is very well known for copying things very quickly and very well, and sometimes that leads to innovation, as in the case of Alibaba, which is very similar to eBay, but it's from a niche, and of course it's extremely successful. However, when you haven't been able to innovate, the other thing left to you is to, as I mentioned, to rise above commodity level. So one example of this is the brand called InternetDiamonds.com, which is not a very appealing name. It doesn't make the diamonds sound very interesting. This was rebranded to a company called Blue Nile, which is much more evocative, more emotional, and more interesting. So that's one example of how branding can help your product, which might be like all the others, stand out. So another reason to invest in branding is that it's good for your company value. Your accountant might be the first one to tell you not to spend a lot of money with a design agency like us. But in fact, when you want to sell your company, the valuation is done from something called EBIT, which is earnings before interest and taxes. And that's times a multiplier, which is anywhere between 2 and 6. So, for example, if your company's EBIT is $1 million, your company would be worth between $2 and $6 million. So that's a really big difference. And what can you use to influence that difference? One thing is to have a proprietary product and to have your own branding which stands out from the others. One factor, so this slide shows all of the factors. This slide shows all of the factors which can affect the multiplier in a positive way, which is to give your company more greater brand value. And the next slide shows what affects your company in a negative way. So what can make it be worth less is having a Me Too product, something that's just like all of the others. And branding is where that can help you. So those are 3 reasons why you would want to invest in branding. Now let's look at what branding is and what branding isn't. I think we all have our ideas about what branding is. What branding isn't, it does not substitute a great product or service. You can't just wrap a pretty label on something and expect it to sell if it's not great. You might sell it once, but people won't come back. So you really need to have a core product or service that you really believe in, that you think is fantastic, and that your customers think is fantastic as well. And perhaps as a manufacturer, that you might be focusing just on the product and not looking at branding. Secondly, branding is not just a logo. Let's look at a case study. Let's look at a case study of a company called Petite Tribe, which is a children's wear company, which my company branded, and we did the packaging and e-commerce website for that. So this is the end result. So the theme of branding is not just a logo, it means a lot of other things. It starts with brand strategy, which is key. When we work with clients, we start by defining their brand strategy, which is like you could think of it as a visual business plan. We look at first we help the client define the unique selling point, also known as the central idea. And in the case of this brand, this is a lovely girl who's half Zhongshanese, actually. So she's from this area as well, but lives in the UK. So the central idea is, in this case, shown on this slide. We look at the inspiration and influences behind the brand, and we look at competitors and see where the brand sits compared to others. And even if this is a complete startup, you can position the brand where you want it to be. So in this case, with fashion, the axes can be different. It depends on what sort of company you're looking at. So with fashion, we're looking at classic, traditional fashion on the left-hand side, something more contemporary or directional on the right-hand side, and then pricing points going from high to low. And you can see the little Petite Tribe in a pink rectangle and where we position that. And this can often be a very good discussion point with clients, because we might have one idea and they say, oh no, I really want it to be more classic, or it's something that can move, and it can also evolve over time, the positioning. Then in this brand strategy document, we describe the exact service or product which is being offered, and also the benefit to the consumer. We look at the brand's personality and the tone of voice in images and words. And again, this is very visual, so it's usually we have 4 different groups of words and imagery. So here you can see the type of imagery that we present, and this creates the foundation for the visual identity, which is all part of the branding. Finally, we look to see if there's any corporate social responsibility or ulterior motive besides earning money. People might be trying to save the world, trying to fill a niche. In this case, Petite Tribe gives back to education in Nigeria. So they donate 1% of turnover to the Petite Tribe Foundation, which supports schools in Nigeria. So as you can see, this is a very visual presentation of the brand strategy, and that leads into the visual identity. So it can also lead into naming. In this case, the name was already present, but in many cases, we work with the client at this level, and then we create a name, because then you know that the name corresponds to the brand strategy. The name, ideally, would rarely, if ever, change. Every so often, there might be a name change if the company has changed drastically and wants to signify that to the outside world. Visual identity, which you could think of as logos, color, and typography, might change every 10 to 20 years. Ideally not too frequently, and in fast-moving consumer goods, it might change more frequently. Communications campaigns for marketing and advertising, on the other hand, are always evolving, and they can also be localized more than the visual identity. Of course, with a visual identity, you can have a brand name can be translated into a local language, but it's very important that the core values of a brand are the same worldwide. And this is, I think, a very important point for companies based here, especially who want to trade internationally. So, speaking about consistency in branding, just as an example, what color do you think of when you think of Coke? It's overwhelmingly branded into your memory, and even picture the type of photography that Apple uses. That's a photographic style, but everybody knows what it looks like. It's very, very powerful brands. The third point about what branding isn't is that branding will not sell all by itself. Again, you can have a fantastic product. You can have, sometimes clients come to us and they say they want something as iconic as the Nike swoosh logo. Do you know that this logo only cost $35 in 1971? So clients come to us and say, I want to spend $35 and get this logo. The other side of that story is that Nike spent $2.75 billion last year on advertising, promotion, and endorsements. So it does take investment as well to make a brand take off. You have to have a robust sales and marketing strategy. So branding itself, unfortunately, doesn't do everything. You really need to have the whole picture, and there has to be a strategic foundation. So it's been very interesting thinking about this topic while being here in Zhongshan. We visited a food festival on Saturday, and looking at the branding there and the billboards driving around, I saw that a lot of them, to my eye, looked alike. A lot of them were using many colors without trying to own one or two brand colors. The typography looked similar. I don't read or speak Chinese, so I couldn't tell what they were saying. But I imagine there were a lot of generic messages like the best quality product. The company names that I saw that were translated were descriptions of what the company does. And this made me think of a company like IBM, which stands for International Business Machines, versus a company like Apple. And the way that you can have a company name which is descriptive, but it doesn't have to be descriptive. You can create a lot more than that, and you can create a story instead of just a description. It's important to create an emotional rather than a rational impact. So your audience, whether your audience is B2B or B2C, whether they're business or consumers, are already being exposed to many strong Chinese and international brands. Think of the brands that you yourself buy into. What is it that you're buying into? What do you like about them, and what promises are they making to you? If you dig below the surface, it's probably not all rational and functional. Particularly lifestyle brands in fashion, beauty, and sports have an implicit promise. So here are a few. So they promise to make you cool, attractive, it's not changing, to make you fit, and it's all very appealing. So I think I'll take two of those, please. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 那这个环节呢，我们就看到我们其实台上的话呢，有几位就是专家了，就是从马德琳女士开始的话，就是品牌的专家，然后李院长的话就是设计创意方面的，然后陈教授的话呢就是互联网基本上是电子商务方面的专家。那我自己的话就对供应链管理可能有一点点的一些研究。